Hello, and welcome to another video by Enterprises Software Solutions. My name is Anthony, and I'm going to walk you through how to install Exchange Server 2019 on your server. So I'm currently running inside of Windows Server 2019, and if you check out our website, you can purchase both Exchange and Windows Server 2019 from us. And so I'm going to launch the File Explorer, and I've actually got the Exchange Server 2019 ISO file in the DVD drive of this VM. So I'm just going to launch it straight from here. And it is a great idea while you're installing it to connect to the internet and check for updates if you do have internet connectivity. Otherwise, you can hit don't check for updates right now. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to skip that step. And this may take a few minutes for it to complete the initialization. There we go. And so if you'd like to see some more documentation about Exchange Server, they've got some links here for setting up your deployment. I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. And accept the license agreement. And here we've got a couple of options using the recommended settings or not. If you're doing a custom deployment, then definitely go through the manual configuration. But in this case, we're going to go through the recommended settings since we have a very simple single server deployment that we're setting up. And here are the rules. If you're not familiar with the different roles of Exchange Server, you should definitely check out the links a couple steps back during the installer. Essentially, in Server 2019, they divided it up into three. So you got the mailbox role, which is the Exchange Server itself. You got the management tools, which you can install on a workstation so you can manage Exchange remotely. And of course, we do want to manage it locally as well. And you got the Edge Transport. So Edge Transport is going to be the part that talks to the internet if you're setting up a multi-server deployment. In this case, I'm going to go with mailbox role. And you notice it automatically selects the management tools for us. And also, for simplicity, I'm going to check the box for automatically install Windows Server roles and features. And if you want to keep it standard, leave it in the default path. And here you can specify the name of your Exchange organization. Typically, you want to name it something along the lines of your Active Directory. In my case, I'm just going to call it the ESS Demo Exchange organization. And we're not going to worry about Active Directory split permissions. That can be really complicated. And here, since I'm depending on Exchange, I'm going to go ahead and leave malware scanning enabled by selecting no to the disabled option. If you have something else that's scanning your email, you want to switch this to yes. And here's the really important part, where it actually checks to make sure that we've got all the prerequisites installed. You notice I didn't mention any at the beginning of the video? Well, it's really easy to just depend on the installer to tell us what prerequisites we need installed, which we'll see in just a minute. So you notice a couple of things here. First off, it points out that a reboot from your previous installation is pending. That's because the installation process does install some server roles in the background because I did check that box. But secondly, we've got links for our prerequisites. So we need the Microsoft Unified Communications Managed API, which we can get to by clicking on this link. Before we do that, you want to be sure and disable the IE Enhanced configuration. So I'm going to turn this off, assuming you're accessing these from your server. So I'm going to click on that link from Microsoft. I'm going to scroll down and click the download option. There we go. You notice this is a fairly large download, so it might take some time. But once it completes, we'll go ahead and run it. Accept the license agreement, and install it. There we go. And for the second one, we've got the Visual C++ redistributable package. Go and select that link. Select the download option. In this case, my server is 64-bit, so I'll select the 64-bit option here. Click on Next. Go and allow the pop-up. And we'll run the download. There we go. We're going to accept that. Click Install. Close. All right. So the last thing as a prerequisite that we need to do is to reboot the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and reboot the machine and pick us up at the prerequisites again. All right. So I've now rerun the installer and passed the prerequisite check after that reboot. And you notice we've got a couple of other warnings as well. In this case, these aren't anything to worry about since I'm installing Exchange into my Active Directory environment for the first time. I don't have any older versions of Exchange hanging out. So I'm going to click install and let it do its thing. And this can take quite a while to complete, depending on your system. And once that installation process has completed, we're going to go ahead and reboot the server. And since it's completing the installation during the reboot, this can take some time as well. So maybe go grab a cup of coffee while you wait. All right, and once the server has rebooted, we can validate that Exchange was installed by launching the Exchange control panel. So if we go to the Start menu, you'll notice that now there's a Microsoft Exchange Server 2019 folder here. And if we open it, we have got the Exchange Administrative Center. So let's go ahead and launch that. And you notice that it thinks the site isn't secure. So this is because it's using SSL with the localhost information and a self-signed certificate. But since this is a trusted server, I'm going to go ahead and go to the web page, even if it is not recommended, because you'll notice that we see the Exchange Admin Center here. We can go and sign in with our domain administrator account, and I'm going to say not remember that password. And we'll give it a moment to load. And there we go. So you can see in my demo domain, I've got just one user. I would expect that if you were installing this in a production environment, that you will have a lot more than just one. But anyway, that is how you get Exchange Server 2019 installed on Windows Server 2019, both of which you can purchase through Enterprises Software Solutions by checking out our website. Be sure to subscribe for more of these types of videos here on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. And remember that Enterprises Software Solutions is your #1 software dudes.